everybody. Welcome to Dump and Dish with Coach Switz and Coach Zane. Coach Zane, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. You have a good Easter?
I did. Good Easter. Had some family in town. My mother-in-law came into town. Mom came over. So it was a good little Easter. How about yourself?
I can't complain. My brother-in-law made a nice brisket, had a huge spread, a bunch of different stuff. It was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better Easter spread.
Ooh.
I mean, we had pastries, we had meats and cheeses, we had everything. It was wild. Brisket, pork tendy. It was crazy.
We spent the morning without power, so that was interesting.
We talked to them.
Yeah, had to fire up the gas grill, to make coffee. That was an interesting one. We had to get the old percolator out on the gas grill to make our morning coffee, but the kids had fun with it. We made the best of it. But yeah, we were out of power for 5-6 hours, something like that, on Sunday morning.
That's not what you were expecting to wake up on Easter, was it?
It was not. No, and it wasn't really even storming at that point. We had nasty storms Saturday, but Sunday was pretty clear, maybe a little bit, but yeah, they said some transformer blew up down the street. So
did we do any Easter egg hunts for the girls?
Yeah, we did a bunch of different things and just kept hiding and find them, hide them again, find them, hide them again. The kids had a blast.
That's awesome. Couple topics we got to discuss today. First one on the agenda, Central Districts happened this weekend. Tell us about what Central District is, why it's important. What do you think on it, Coach?
Central District is the ultimate pathway to play for the U.S. developmental team. It starts with your local, jurisdiction here. So Missouri Hockey, they're allowed to send so many players at each level to the next tryouts that are for the whole Central District.
Shout out Durso. He does a nice job with that.
Nice job. And then from there, players are selected to then go to the national camp where essentially half of the U.S. Team USA is picked. They're allowed to pick so many kids beforehand. If you're hand selected from your teams, they're allowed to do that. But, most or part of the roster still comes from that camp. So it's a tryout. And it's an honor to represent St. Louis. It's an honor to, be able to represent the Central District at the national camp if you're selected. So, it's a really cool event to showcase the top talent coming out of St. Louis. And the next camps are awesome. I was lucky to be able to participate in one my 16th year, so that was really cool to go up to Chicago and be part of the Central District camp there, and get to play with all these players that are now playing in the NHL.
Yeah, neat, right?
Yeah, it's so neat. Like I look back on that roster, I'm like, oh, he made it. He,
Man,
he's
I was a little better than I thought I was.
Yeah, so
on the ice with these guys.
It's a great event. And great to showcase St. Louis talent moving to the next level. And, through that, we've been able to put multiple people on the national team and ultimately into the NHL later as they get to develop playing, at the highest level that they possibly can.
That's sweet. Yeah, no, it's a cool experience, I think, for all the kids there. I know they get excited. I think that next year we got to do a better job letting everybody know where it's coming and to try out. If you don't think you're going to make it or not, I don't think it matters that much. I think getting out there and experiencing that tryout with all the best, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and that is one thing that we just got to get that out there to make sure all the top players are trying out. There's some of them every year that come out like, oh, I didn't even know this was going on. I didn't know this was a thing. It's not broadcast widely in St. Louis. So, getting that word out in March when the signups are, or in February so that the right kids can get signed up and showcase their skills.
I agree.
And you never know. Like this year, a Central States player made it, beat out a bunch of AAA players.
I think multiple different birth years. I heard there was some Central States players.
Yeah. So for people not from St. Louis, we've got 2 AAA teams here in St. Louis, and then Central States is that next level down from there.
Yeah.
Still great hockey, but that's really cool that a Central States player is able to jump a lot of those AAA players and represent St. Louis at the next level.
Real neat.
Yeah.
Real neat. Next topic I got for us: Blues playoffs. What's your biggest surprise so far?
2 things. One, the physicality of the play, but
brutal.
Yeah.
Just punishing.
Yeah. But then when the bell needs to be answered, nobody was there. Kyrou got launched yesterday.
Murdered.
And then nobody answered the bell.
No follow-up hits.
Yeah.
No, I was pretty disappointed in that reaction. That's our top guy, our skill guy. And even Robert Thomas got smoked. And I know you can't just get the 2 minutes dropping the mitts, but somebody better take a number. We better see something.
You got to do something when something like that happens in playoff hockey. And then the second one was the skill plays at the blue line. There's so many pucks that got
keep the puck
in,
please.
Yeah, and a lot of it was friendly fire.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
pass to the point.
Yeah, and took a little hop, But at the pro level, I expect it doesn't go through the 5-hole on you. Like, you know,
yeah,
you don't
it's
get
a tough look
you don't-
multiple times there.
You don't get nutmegged by your own player. And that happened multiple times at the end of game 2 there, where we had chances to hold the puck in the zone, keep the pressure on, especially when we pulled the goalie. And I think
Good chances to get some pucks on net if they just catch and shoot.
Yeah. You know, so I think that just a little bit of skill development there, and then again, you know, standing up for your players. We fight hard to get to the playoffs, and you can't let somebody start bullying you around. Then it's over in playoff hockey. If that team thinks they're the bully and they can just take advantage of you,
especially your top guys.
Yeah, you're in deep trouble. Somebody's got to stand up to that.
Calling Mr. Tucker.
Yeah.
He didn't play very well the rest of the part of the game, so a little step up there, big guy.
Yep.
How about those playoff brackets? How do you think your bracket's going to do? For those who didn't see the Facebook post, we released a bracket challenge. Winner's going to get whatever stick they want from Pure Hockey. Coach Zane and I are also in on it, so I'm pretty excited. I think I'm going to beat him for sure. We didn't even put a bet in. We need to put a bet in. Let's start there.
All right, what do we want to do?
What's the winner get? Or what's the loser have to do? I like loser has to do something.
Loser has to do something?
Yep.
Ooh, I don't know. Let's.
I think a funny video on the wolf costume.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, let's the
first release
the loser
wolf
debuts.
Yeah,
the St. Louis Hockey Training Wolf.
I like it. I think that's gonna be it.
All right, and on that post, we'll let everybody pick the new name for the wolf. We used to. We had him named Chief after Berube, but Kairu took care of that one for us. Yeah. So let's do a naming contest, and whoever loses has to be the one in the wolf costume for that video.
I like it. Last thing, or one of the last things, how do you recommend training in the off season? I got a few questions lately coming in about, hey, we're finally done with the season and all of that. Spring started up. What should I be doing until next tryouts? How should that look? Let's say the beginner player, 6U, 8U, blue, or C players.
Yeah.
And then you got, let's say the A and above, and even the B players. What should the intermediates and then advanced do?
So for the beginner players, it can be as simple as just shooting 10, 20 pucks in the driveway, just keeping those skills relevant. For a lot of them, it's just doing athletic things. It doesn't even have to be hockey. Like, my kids love to swim, so we swim all the time. I mean, there's two athletes in this world that I'm scared most of, wrestlers and swimmers. They're full-body athletes.
Yeah.
So finding that cross-training sport that is developing the muscles and the way that they all work together. So
yeah, I like gymnastics also.
Sure. Any full-body movements are going to be great in developing a hockey player and just developing an overall athlete.
Yeah.
And at that younger age, that's the goal. We've got to get all those muscles working together, learning how to fire in sequence so they all
throw a ball, swing a bat.
It's all the same motion.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it in our lessons all the time. Hey, shooting a hockey puck is just like swinging a baseball bat. It's the same motions.
One's over your shoulder, one's on the floor.
That's exactly right. So working on that, working on the eye-hand coordination, any of the sports that have something that extends from your body, whether that's a tennis racket, a baseball bat, a lacrosse stick, whatever that is, all of those are also working on eye-hand coordination that will transfer to hockey. So at the lower levels, taking back on the hockey side, because otherwise you can run them all spring and summer, and then they're right into the next season, and then all of a sudden now you're on a 20-month season.
You're just grinding them
and
dragging them everywhere.
They need a break, and some of them aren't mature enough yet to say, Dad, Mom, I need a break. I need a couple weeks off. I do suggest public sessions too. Any ice time is good ice time. They can just get out there and mess around with their friends. Don't force them into trying to learn something while they're at the public session. Take two of their friends that don't even know how to skate from the neighborhood and go teach them how to skate. But that time on the ice, there's nothing like standing on an 1/8 inch of steel for balance. And so that is one thing in the off season. We try to find a public session here or there or whatever and just go have fun.
Yep.
Find a corner, play tag. They're working on all the footwork that you've been teaching them. If you play tag with them and you make a little competition out of it in a friendly way,
stop, starts, turns, crossovers,
they're going to use it all, trying to stay away from you. And then if you can skate and skate well, like, you can force different situations too. So there's times where I know, one daughter needs to work on turning to the left. Sweet. Guess where
we're NASCAR here today, buddy.
So I always chase her where she has to turn left, and I'm having her work on things, but she doesn't even know she's working on it, and she's having a blast, and just having fun with that, and that's number one at the end of the day. Like, they're having fun, they're learning, and they're developing into full body athletes.
What do you think that B player, that mid-range player who's trying to make it into the next level next year, hit the A teams and all that?
That's when you depending on the kid
Yep.
and the age,
Still think a break's needed.
yeah, a break is needed in there, but
When and how long? Because we jump right into spring season and all that. So when do you recommend we take that break, and how long should that break be, you think?
so for that mid-level person, I like it right at the end of the spring.
Okay.
If they want to play spring with their friends, like I'm not gonna say no, I'm taking your skates away. You don't get to go have fun
You
with your
can't go
friends.
play friend.
And just the way hockey's set up in St. Louis, they go from the fall season straight into the spring season. A lot of that at the higher levels is to prep you for AAA tryouts.
Yeah.
Those Tier 1 tryouts happen right around Memorial Day, so you got to get in that spring season to get those players up to speed that maybe played Central States but now have a chance to play AAA.
Well, yeah, and you got
And-
Central States in June too.
Yeah,
So
so boom, boom. But for that B-level hockey player that's probably not at that level, after the spring season is done, while they're all going through their crazy tryouts at the higher levels,
Yeah.
take a break. Just
How long? I'm gonna keep asking.
no, that's fine. 3-4 weeks. It depends
Agree.
on the kid, though.
Yeah.
Like some of them need
Until they
longer.
ask
Than
to go back is what I always say. If
That's
they're
a good way of
liking
doing
it,
it.
they'll ask to go back. When
Yeah.
can I go play again?
I remember some of the pro guys back in the day said they just hid their skates for the summer.
Yeah.
A couple months. I'm a little hesitant on that just because I know how valuable the skating side of it is, and just a public session. Again,
well,
it's
different
not.
time, different place. Everybody
Yeah.
doesn't do skill lessons and doesn't have skating coaches and all
Yeah.
that. And it wasn't as much of a year-round sport back then. And you do have to take a break, but I don't think 3-4 months is. I think you're going to lose a step. With too many
100%.
people. I think that's changed now.
Yeah, so at least finding something fun to do.
Then what do you think about that advanced player?
They're more dedicated. I think that has to be player driven at that point. Like the player, if they're truly enjoying it and
I'm
playing,
a Mike Red or a Squirt brand new AAA player.
Okay, brand new AAA player. One, we've got to utilize that spring season to get up to speed for tryouts.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're attending those AAA skates that are at that next level that you're not used to playing at. You need to be at those, 8 weeks or 8 skates or whatever. That's your chance
It's a week
to-
tryout.
to catch. Well, and the first couple weeks, the coaches expect that you're going to struggle a little bit because those passing windows close down so much faster at the next. Every time you move up a level.
Well, even the
you're
younger guys, you
shooting
might
lanes.
be just going to full ice for the first time.
Yes, exactly right. And so getting used to that new speed of the game or aspect of the game being full ice versus half ice. So utilizing that spring, then you're into tryouts, and that's going to dictate a lot of what you do. You make that team. Typically here in St. Louis, those teams shut down for a month or two, and that's your break then.
Yeah.
You got a break.
Yeah,
You can
after tryouts.
do a
Got till August usually.
do a summer camp or something like that to keep you fresh in the summer. But that's where you can take that break for a couple weeks and not really get dinged.
Yeah.
And then for my daughters, we ramp back up towards the end of July, early August to get back into shape before tryouts.
Well, I also though I see a lot of those. From my experience, I see the AAA players really look to advance their skills in the off season too, because they're so busy in the regular season that they kind of ramp up their one-on-one training or I guess their personal skills training come the summertime and through the springtime.
Yeah, and there's more time to do that, but there's
Yeah.
also time there to play other sports.
Well, then
And-
you're not
and, yeah.
practicing 4 days a week and go traveling, every weekend or every other weekend. So you have a lot more time. But I just, wanted to make sure that, those higher level guys, we can't take the month and a half
No,
off.
no.
Uh,
No, you gotta keep honing those skills and progressing. And again, that's where it's player driven. Like the kids that are at that level are typically already driven to play hockey.
Yep.
They love hockey. They're really enjoying it, and they're the ones read your kid. They're asking for more. They're asking to do more things. That's a good sign. When they
Yeah.
tell you, hey,
Do I have to go?
Yeah. For me, it's if they ask 3 times in a row for something that they don't really want to go. Now we start asking questions.
Yeah.
One day it might just be that they wanted to watch TV or play on their iPad or whatever they were doing. They need to leave their friend's house. But
Yeah.
if it's 3 times in a row, then hey, we might need to scale this back just a little bit.
I like it. Now, last thing I want to do is talk to you. I saw you're putting a new series together on Facebook and YouTube. Tell me a little bit about the new series.
Awesome, yeah. So as a whole, as a company, we've got 3 new great ones coming out. We've got obviously our
Dump and Dish
on Fridays that's coming out. For me, I'm helping players and coaches and parents build a stride. So what I'm really focused on is starting from the very, very basic fundamentals of skating, how to build a stride with a hockey player. From balance to power to upper body to core strength. We're going to walk through everything on how to build that stride. We're utilizing our treadmill, but then also every episode I'm giving, drills to use on the ice for coaches, and
Yeah.
I'm using, at home things also. Simply just putting on a skate guard. You can do most of these drills
At home.
yeah. And giving options for players to do some homework with it and continue to progress as a skater.
It's neat. I like it.
Everybody needs those fundamental work.
Yeah. And you're going, from what I understand, you're going all the way through to the power and the quick feet, the whole thing. You're going to build a player.
The whole thing. I'm building a stride.
That's going to be
building
sweet.
a stride from the ground
really
up. How about
exciting.
yours now? Yeah.
So mine, Detention with Coach Switz. That's a fun one. It's 5-minute daily homework. We put it out weekly, but you're supposed to do it daily. It's only 5 minutes. Suck it up, everybody. Get your homework done. But we focus on what, it's like a mini lesson at home. We bring a lot of the lessons that we do at the facility to the driveway, or, I do a lot of it from the facility, but I show you how to set it up in the driveway. And we use those same talking points that we find in the one-on-one lessons. You can really gain a lot of the fundamental practice of each of those skills. This week's was shooting. Last week was stick handling. I think it's good for all the players, no matter what your skill level is, to get that fundamental in it. Even the older guys, I think you can use it for those pregame routines. What should I do when I'm getting ready right before? What should my ball in the hall be doing? What should I be doing with that stick handling ball before my games? I think you can use a lot of this for that purpose also.
Oh, that's awesome. Our full episodes of that are on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yep.
Yep. So full episodes on YouTube, and then we're putting out shorts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the other platforms. But
give us a like, share, and a follow. Huh?
Yeah,
Come
check it
on,
out
for the boys. All right, I think that's all we got here today, Coach. Dump and Dish, wrapping up episode number 2. We'll see you later. We're out.
Bye, guys.